guys, this is Colin here, bringing you my next episode of how to use Course Maker in Super Mario Maker 2. In this episode, I'm going to discuss about the original power-ups and the original enemies since when Super Mario Maker 2 was first released. I'll be showcasing the new update in Super Mario Maker 2 in another episode, but for now, I'm just going to be showing you guys the original scenes. So, I'm going to show you some items, all the power-ups, and some enemies. So, first off we have a coin, which is an item. And then the coin will track us how many coins we collect and also track our score. So, as you can see, we collected 5 coins so far and our score is 500, of course. Each coin you collect, it adds 100 to the score each time. So that's the coin item. So now we have the 10 coin. And like I said, all these power-ups and items and most of the things in Super Mario Maker 2, you can press A to view the pop-up menu and interact with things. Like you can change it to a 30 coin, a 50 coin. But each of them will only give you 100 score. You see, only increases 100 by each time. So I'm just going to stick with 10. That's like big money. And depending on if you change it to a 10, 30, or 50 coin, it will track like you collected 10 coins, you collected 30 coins, you collected 50 coins. So the next item we have is the pink coin. And what's cool about the pink coin is once you collect all of them, a key will appear. But the key was like falling down and disappearing. Why, you ask? Because I do not have a door, so a key door, so that a door that's locked. Or I did not even put a door out. So you see the difference. And I'm just showing it as an example. There's no point in putting a door beside each other. So that's all the items for this game style in Super Mario Maker 2. I think there's more items and the power-ups in the other game styles. So those are all the items. So moving on to the power-ups, we use the pop-up menu and 2 different types of Yoshi eggs. One of them is green, which will suck up small creep enemies with his tongue. Red Yoshi, he will shoot fireballs. So the difference between them is one sucks with his tongue and one shoots fireballs. So the next power-up we have is the Super Mushroom. And the Super Mushroom will turn Mario big and have the more ability to do things. So we have like a brick. If he gets the Super Mushroom, he has the ability to break the bricks like that. Woohoo! So I think that's a cool ability. And there are more cool abilities. So the next ability we have is the Fire Flower. The Fire Flower, it allows Mario to shoot fireworks, and because you have already a power-up stronger than that, the power-ups you get that are weaker than the power-up you have, it automatically counts as your score. Even if you just don't have a power-up yet and you get like a super strong power-up, it also counts as your score. So like I said, like the Fire Mario, you shoot fireballs and can kill like most of the enemies. So that's a very cool power-up. Now we have the Propeller Mushroom, which you can fly with it. So once I grab it, I fly. You cannot fly twice in a row. You have to glide down and just stop before flying again. There's like a power-up that allows you to fly like a bunch of times in a row, which I'll be showcasing in another episode. But this is a good power-up. It allows you to fly and stop, but does not allow you to fly without stopping. You have to glide, and once you hit the ground, same thing, you cannot rescue yourself and you die. So this is the Super Acorn, but it's like a new power-up, which I'll be showcasing in like a different episode. So right now we have a 1-up mushroom and a superstar. The superstar will keep Mario invincible for a short amount of time. You can kill almost any enemy with it, except for enemies that are not invincible to superstar. So like cannot be killed. So this one's the 1-up mushroom, which gives Mario an extra life, and you'll notice the similarities between the super mushroom and the 1-up mushroom. The similarity is that they are both mushrooms, red and green. They're just different colors. The difference is like one turns Mario big and one turns Mario it gives Mario an extra life. And you can use these like mushrooms to give Mario an extra life if he's like low on life when he was like playing like a big course map, or you can just like give the player like a little bonus. Oh, you found out like a sneaky bonus. Here's your mushroom as your reward. So I pretty much discussed like all of the original power-ups in this game style. So I'm going to be moving on to the next game style and discussing all the original power-ups in this style as well. So Super Mario World, we also have the Cape Feather. That's all we have for the different original power. We pretty much discussed all the other ones, there's no point in discussing them again. So if you run with max speed, you can fly with a cape. So that's the Cape Feather. This is also a new power which I'll discuss later. And moving on to the next game style. We have a Shoe Goomba and a Super Leaf. So the Shoe Goomba is like, first of all, there's a Goomba in the shoe. And then once you kill the Goomba, the shoe is yours. But if you get hit, you lose the shoe. And you get an extra hit bonus. So now we have the Super Leaf, which will turn Mario like he has like a raccoon. He's like a raccoon. And there's a difference between cape. You can just like fly for a little bit. Like raccoons don't fly, you can just glide for a little bit. Raccoons don't fly, like that's the problem. Raccoons do not fly. So you can only just jump really far, not fly like a cape. So, moving on to Super Mario Bros. The second last game style for the original power-ups. And this is like a classic like Super Mario Bros. Game. Super Mario Bros. Looks like an old style, and we also have the one new original power-up in the Super Mario Bros. Game style. It's the Big Mushroom, which I'll be showcasing with something cool. If you put hard blocks all over the screen, you automatically turn it into Big Mario, and you can break blocks from underneath and above. So if I get like a good running start, you can even break them on semi-solid platforms, which are discussed in the last episode about the terrain and the style and the scene. So, last game style for the original power. This game style is a fabulous new game style, and it will reset everything because it has new power-ups and it has a background instead of decorations. So, the new original power-ups we have for this one is just only one new original power-up, which is the Cat Mario. Like I said, these are both new power-ups, which I'll be discussing later. For the Super Battle, it turns Mario into Cat Mario, which Mario can scratch with his paws and can scratch like enemies who get close to him, but not enemies that are very strong. It will take multiple hits or enemies that aren't even invincible to scratching. So enemies that cannot be killed with scratching. So that's another thing you gotta keep in mind of when like using power-ups. This whole section is a brand new power-up section, which I'll discuss later as well. So moving on to the enemies. We first have the Goomba, which when they get close to you, they see you, they run at you and attack you. The difference between the Super Mario 3D World game style and all the other game style is that the Goombas won't come rushing at you. They just become like, they just will walk towards you and say, excuse me, I'm bumping into you. Is that okay? So you'll notice the difference between these. See, he just walks towards you, not like attack you. So next we have the Koopa Troopa, and the good thing about Koopa Troopa is one falls off a platform, one does not. So I will be showing you guys the difference. See? The difference. That's the difference. You can also attempt to use them like these. Very nice. You can make them turn into a shell and knock all the enemies behind it. So next we have the Cheat Cheat, which I would not recommend using it in grassy stages. I would recommend only using them in water and lava stages. So if we put like a bunch of them down, that would be very crazy, but I'm just going to be showcasing one, and you can just put a bunch of them down if you want players to be absolute insane with your artwork. And the difference between why I'm putting a bunch is that because I'm showing you the difference, because there's one other kind as well. So if I turn this way, the red one will follow me, but the green one will just moving in one direction. The red one will alternate directions and follow you. So next we have the Blooper, which I would recommend only using them in the water stages. There's no point, because in the water stages you're swimming and you cannot just like stomp on them. In these scenes you can stomp on them. Except I just ran into them. So I can stomp on them and it adds on to my score as well. So power-ups and enemies, killing enemies and gaining power-ups or collecting power-ups you already have, all add up to your score. So next we have the Spiny, which is a thing you cannot step on because it is made of spikes, and you can only like kill if you have an ability, not like a jumping ability, only if you have an ability like shoots fireballs and like kill them with invincible power. Next we have a Buzzy Beetle, and the reason why I'm putting it beside the Spiny because they can also be turned into power-ups. So the Buzzy Beetle looks like a Buzzy Beetle. It has a shell on top, and it can kill like everything like behind it or in front of it, if depending on which direction you make it go. So the reason why I'm showing you this is because they can also be used as power-ups or abilities. So you have So I have a protection helmet. I can use this to knock enemies back to their original position, and make enemies so they not hurt me because I have a protection cap and nobody can hurt me unless if you just like go on the side of it and not, if you're not careful, you just like die if you hop on the side of it. So don't go on the side of it. Always make sure to stay in the middle and make sure to stay in like a 90-degree. If it's okay if you like go a little bit acute and a little bit obtuse, but not too obtuse. Otherwise, you will lose the helmet and that will not be good. As you can see, this one's a little bit different. It has some spikes on top, and when an enemy comes out, boing, I kill the enemy, which I'll be showcasing with an enemy right now. This is the best enemy to use it, which I'll be showcasing as well for this episode. Push enemies back to the original position. If I go on the side of it, I lose the helmet, and spiky helmet kills them. So that's the difference. So next we have the spike top, which, watch this. They can walk on sides of the platforms, and there's two different kinds. One walks slow, one walks fast. It only walks a little bit fast, not like speedy, like Speedy Mario does. That is like much faster than a spike top walks. But the blue one like walks particularly a little bit faster than the red one, so be sure to keep that in mind. Moving on to our next section is the piranha plant. The piranha plant have sharp beaks that you cannot step on. They're known as Venus flytraps. If you step on them, you die. So, like I said, you can only kill them with ability power, and you can put them in the pipes as well. And why am I showing you with a pipe? Because I want to show you something with the pipe as well. See, it goes up and down the pipe. Now you might notice some like 2 triangles, 4 triangles, 1 triangle, 3 triangle. These things change the pipe speed. So when you have something inside the pipe, they automatically change the pipe speed. So this one's, for example, this one's very slow. You see how slow it is. Not very slow, but the slowest of all the 4 different color pipes. This one's, I just showed it, it was a normal speed, and it's a classic pipe. This one's fast. I mean, not really fast compared to the green one. And last one, this one's super fast. So when it goes back in, it automatically just pops back out. There's no pause, just like the other color pipes. So that's why I wanted to show you a piranha plant in the pipe. And like I said, the munchers, these things are not invincible by Superstar. So if I was showcasing it, I cannot like kill them with a Superstar. There's no way I'm going to be able to kill with a Superstar. You can't even do it with firepower as well. Cannot kill them with firepower. And then some videos I'm going to be showing that you can actually kill these guys. It has something, and it's called gizmos. Something in the gizmo section can kill these enemies. And like I said, these enemies, they can also be put into pipes, and you can also change the pipe speed of how fast or how slow they go each when they come out and go in back in the pipe. Next we have the spike. And the spike is something that he will throw spike balls at you, and you gotta be careful. You cannot hit his spike ball. You can land on top of him, but don't land on his spike balls. He breaks the hard block, but cannot break the solid ground. Nobody can break it. Nothing, no enemy can break that. If we do a small one, if we do the brick blocks, so you'll see the difference. Like I said, like the small ones only break one at a time. The big ones keep like breaking several at a time. So that's the spike. we also have the chain chomp, which you can also use the pop-up menu. One of them is leashed, one of them is unleashed, and you can also ground pound, which I'll be showcasing how to control Mario in one of the future episodes. You can also ground pound to knock off the leash. And there we go, you have 2 unleashed chain chomps. So next we have the hammer bow, which you gotta be careful of because it will throw hammers at you. So that's the hammers. Now we have the rocky wrenches, which will like throw like wrenches at you. So you gotta be careful. If I land on them, I die, so they hide in blocks. Next enemy is something very sneaky. They can hide in ground, in solid ground, and enemies, all of the other enemies, when you put them inside the ground, they will automatically just disappear. So if you can put one, or you can go multiple, or you can go really insane. So we have a big stack of Monty Moles, so they can be used like this as well. Now we have the swamp, which is kind of similar to a spike, which a small one can break one at a time with the brick blocks. The big one come rushing down immediately, but they crush you instead of throwing stuff at you. So if you go near them, see, it only does one at a time. This one breaks everything at a time. So that's really cool. Very vicious enemy right there. I pretty much discussed all the enemies in this section. Next, let's move on to the next section, and then it will be the end of this episode. So, the next section, we have the Wiggler. I mean, you can make them the angry Wigglers. And what's the difference between them is a Wiggler walks at normal speed. If you step on them once, they become angry, and then they have very greedy eyebrows that will walk much faster than normal speed, and he might be thinking and saying, oh my god, I want to get this Mario. This Mario is so mean. I'm going to try to get him, but there's no path leading to it. Okay, so if we put like a path over here, it's like, oh yes, I got the Mario. And of course, you can make them bounce higher if they have the wing ability. Now we have the Pokey, and the Pokey, you can make them as tall as you want, but not super tall like that. And if you kill them only with a fire flower, takes very slow time. If you kill the head, which I'm gonna be showing right now, it kills them automatically. So we also have the Superstar, one hit takedown. So that's the Pokey. Now we have the Mega Koopa, which is known as Kamek. He can do very like magic and weird things to you, so you gotta be careful. Like I said, I'm not close enough. So, for example, you will watch this magic. He turned the flag into a very cheap fish, big fish. So that's magic you can do to you. Also applies to the castle scenes where you have the bridge and the axe. You'll also automatically turn the axe into something you might not even know. He might turn it into coins, something good or something bad. Sometimes he will be a little bit nice, but you never know what he's gonna make it turn into. Now the fishbone, these I recommend you to use them in water stages because they automatically collapse and like if you put them here, they never come back, they just fall to their doom. So that's like the fish bones. So now we have the dry bones, which you can use them in these stages, but I recommend you to use them. You can use them in castle stage. They're better than using them in ground stage, cause like dry bones need like you can bounce on them, and it'll bounce you even higher. They get back up, so that does not count as killing them. The big ones, they cannot be killed by just stepping on them, just ground pound them, and then just kill them. So now we have the bomb. So the bomb, you can make them into two different bombs. One is like a bomb, and one is like a lit bomb. And they can both break the hard blocks, but the big one would destroy a much larger area. The small one only destroys a short amount of area. So I'm just gonna do that. Boom. See, only 3 blocks. That big one can destroy more than 4 blocks if it's very close. So next we have the lava bubble, which I'll recommend using in castle stages because like this won't work in like real life, but it will work in this game. Like they drop down, they come back up. That's why I'm showcasing multiple. So that's what they'll call lava bubbles. So I recommend you using them in castle stages. So then we have the ghost, which is the last thing I'm going to be showing before we wrap the episode. You can also make them into a booze circle. I recommend you using these into a ghost house because the ghost house is very spooky and is a good fit for the ghost. And that's why they're called boos. The normal boos, they just follow you, and if you're looking at the opposite direction as they're looking, they won't follow you. But if you're looking at the same direction they're looking at, like I said, the boos looking to the right, I'm looking into the right, they'll automatically follow you. But they're not really fast, so you don't need to worry about them. Boos with wings move really fast. You gotta run to your doom. You can also make them big. Like I said, you can use them in the pop-up menu. So, I'm gonna wrap it for today's episode of Super Mario Maker 2 Course Maker. So, next episode we're gonna continue with the enemies. Like, we're gonna discuss about the enemies in the new 3D World game styles, and maybe like discuss like some of the bosses and some of like the army for Bowser. Like these 7 are the army of Bowser. So I'm gonna be discussing these 2 and hopefully the 3D World game style, new enemies, new original enemies next episode as well. So I hope you found this video very helpful. So I see you next time. Bye bye.